Okay, we're live from New York City. This is the real Tony Cohen, and what we're doing today is a real life, no holds barred telephone or telemarketing or telecanvassing or telesales training event. I've not put a panel on here because I really want to get focused on this. I will tell you it's Movember and I'm 10, 12 days in and regretting it, so hence my my look. So we're going, okay, people are jumping on as we speak. Wonderful, guys. This is a recorded broadcast as well. So what we're looking at and what we're talking about here very specifically is people who work outbound over the phone. Now, whether that is to acquire clients, whether that's to book appointments, whether that's cold, whether that's warm, whatever the difference is, whether it's follow-up, it doesn't matter. It's all the basic principles are the same. So first of all, you've got to understand what you're trying to accomplish. Are you on a first call trying to make an appointment for a second call? Are you on that call trying to do business? Are you just trying to accomplish a way of rapport? Are you actually speaking with the person you need to speak with? Is that call specifically just to get through to the person you need to speak with? You've got to understand what you're trying to accomplish from every call. So once we differentiate, the principles are all the same. So we've got to understand, if I'm on a first call with someone and it's just I remember the good old days where people wanting leads, we would give them a yellow pages. Oh, you need some leads of window cleaners in Southwest London. Here you go. There's your leads. And it was just calling out the yellow pages or calling out a phone books. And life is so much easier now. We can target these things. But if you're calling a random stranger who has no idea what the call is about, you've got to determine based on experience of others and yourself, is that call to connect? Is that call to do business? Is that call just to create rapport? Is that call to find out if it's the correct person? Is that call to get to the person's name? So you've got to determine what it is you're trying to accomplish, first of all. Then we're determining, and this is before I get into the principles of how it works, then once we determine who, why, and what, okay, you've got to understand is a lead is a lead is a lead. However, a lead could just be a name in a phone book. That's a lead. If I pick up a phone book now and it says George Smith, I'll just call and say, oh, hi, George. That's a lead to me, okay? If I'd be given a specific thing, this is Frank from the HR department of whatever the XYZ company, that to me is a lead. Whether it's just a phone number, I've got to start finding out names. That's another thing that's the difference. So even if I've got a name, oh, so-and-so doesn't work here anymore. Oh, okay, who's taking over his position? It's still a lead. It's just a name. It's something. I work with a guy, and I don't want this to come across as remotely racist. However, in the UK, there's a high percentage of corner store owners from the Indian subcontinent. And I work with this guy, I can't remember his name, and that was his task. And we were in the energy market at the time. And his task, it was small to medium businesses, and his book of lists, his yellow pages, his sheets, where's my leads? And it would just rip off, you tear them out the corner stores or whatever the actual word was there. And he would call them one after the other, after the other, after the other. And what he found over the period of time, there was a high percentage of these owned by a Mr. Patel. So after about 2 or 3 weeks, he would just literally be on the phone. Oh, hi, Mr. Patel, please. Yeah, it's John, thanks. And he said 9 out of 10 times, I get through to the right person. Now, that's just one story, but that evolves into what a lead really is. Okay, he just had a name, and he wasn't even showing them a name. Oh, there's no Mr. Patel there? Maybe I've got the wrong story. Who's the owner of this one? Oh, Mr. Jones. Yeah, that's it. You know what? I've read it wrong. Mr. Jones, please. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's Frank. Yeah, thanks. Same thing. And he utilized it. So what I'm going to go into today is the actual philosophy and techniques, but just before we get into that, I want to break down what we're looking at here, what we're determining, and we can look at that and go, well, that was the wrong name. It was, you know, it should have been Joe Smith and it was John Smith. That's no good. Okay, we need to approach every call with something to come out of it. Now, whether that something is a connection, a name, a referral, business, whatever it is, we need to figure out what we're trying to accomplish on every single call. In some businesses, one call and you've done business. In some businesses, it's one call, you set up an appointment for someone else. And I'm specifically talking business-wise here. You know, if we're in the telephone, the phone calling industry, we're not calling people to say, is John there? Oh, hi, John, happy birthday. Okay, it's specifically business-oriented, this. Then what we got to look at then is a warm lead, a cold lead. A warm lead to me is sometimes I've been referred. So I've got a third party. Oh, John's there? Is John there? Yeah, who is it? It's Tony. Frank Smith asked me to give him a call. Thanks. I don't explain it till I'm talking to the right person. And we're going to cover that today as well. Now, the other thing with that is if it's someone I've called and I've arranged to call them back, I'll let them know, because I don't know if they get 1 call a day or 1,000 calls a day. So if I just call, oh, hi, Frank, it's Tony. They might have had 500 Tonys on the phone that week. I don't know. So, oh, hi, Frank, it's Tony. We spoke last week. It was about the window cleaning. And do you remember? Do you recall? Yeah. Did you get a chance to look at that thing? Okay. That is not perhaps the right way to do it, but it's getting through to the right person. So these are what we break it down. And I'm going to show you the wrong way and the right way to do it. Then this all boils down to one simple thing: the lost art of communication. So over the last 30 or 40 years, in studies, it's never changed. It's never changed at all. There's 3 principles of communication, very, very specific mathematic principles. What we say, but then the old saying goes, it's not what we say, it's how we say it, our voice. But that is just one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional is our physiology, our body language over the phone. If you've ever sat on a phone call with someone and you've just thought they're either, you know, he's calling for me here from lying, he sounds like he's lying in bed. She sounds like she's slumped on a desk. This guy sounds like he's dancing around on tables while he's on the phone to me. We can read, we can see down those phone lines the physiology of people. Now, the mathematical breakdown is simple. 7% the wording, the actual wording we use. And I'm going to backtrack on this and explain what I mean by this. 38% is our voice. This is percentages of effective communication. So 6 out of 100 calls, theoretically, is because of our voice. 38%, sorry, 7% is our words. 38% is our voice. The massive, massive 55% is our physiology. So we'll backtrack here and we'll start with words. Sometimes when we're calling specifically for business, we have a certain script, and there might be a reason for that script. One reason may be it's legalities. You know, certain industries, I was chatting with someone that worked in a bank, and they couldn't put their personality into that presentation. So if it said, hello, sir, how are you? I would never do that. I don't call people sir. But that's how it had to be. Okay, that's, you know, that's not me. However, the words are important. So if I'm calling a bank manager, I'd try and get the name first. So I won't just call, oh, hey, buddy, how's it hanging? So certain words are key. Then those words on that presentation, I refrain from using the word script because it's kind of outdated, but that presentation may also be based on someone that's done it before with success. And very often that is the case. If it looks like it's a legal situation, it means someone's put it together that's never actually done any phone work. Very often you get these things bounce backwards and forwards between 2 parties, where the legal side of it will say, this is what we have to say. And someone that knows what they're doing will say, that's great, it's not going to work. So, and they'll bounce it backwards and forwards. And then you get some sort of end result, which is both legal and effective if you're working in a reasonable organization. So what's going to come across is the words you say, and there's certain words we tend to stay away from. Some things, the words, if you've heard the saying, it sounds too good to be true. So I tend to refrain from words like free. I'd rather use words like it's a no charge. Oh, it's free, you don't pay anything. Oh no, it's a no charge. It just gives it a slight more edge. But there's lots of words, and there's an exercise you can do. And I'll actually put something together for anyone on this, and we'll figure it out. I'll do another recording with 100 words on, and you can do it as a go home exercise. Find a more positive replacement for that. A good one is the word problem, just in your vocabulary in general, is if we focus on that word problem, we attract problem. Okay. If we focus and exchange that for the situation or the challenge, oh, Mr. Jones, yeah, I'm calling about your problem. What if Mr. Jones has been to the proctologist this morning? Okay, maybe that's not the right example. Mr. Jones, I'm calling about your the situation. Oh, what situation is that? Okay, Mr. Jones, yeah, I'm calling with possible business challenges. What challenges? I'm calling about your business problems. He might think I'm from a debt collector. Oh, this is not Mr. Jones. So your choice of words, be mindful of them. But the words are only 6%. Our voice has a much greater effect. So what can we alter in our voice? I remember, just one final thing on words. Less is more. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth, using that proportion. So if we're asking, listen. And sometimes I get on calls with people and I literally think, just get on with it. So initially on a call, I'm backtracking here, I forgot something. Initially on a call, it's the same with life. We have a second or 2 tops to get their attention. So what I don't do, whether this is face-to-face or on the phone or whatever it is. Oh, hi, Mr. Jones, how are you today? If I'm Mr. Jones, I'm thinking, get on with it. Or I'm thinking, who are you and why do you want to know? But it starts, my mind, my psychology straight away thinks if someone's not getting right to the point, generally they want something from me and they're avoiding asking me. Oh, hi, Mr. Jones. Yeah, it's Tony. Yeah, Frank told me to call you. You know, Frank? I'm utilizing something to get the attention straight away. It's getting a hook and creating a conversation with them straight away. Hi, how are you today? Wonderful, thank you, I'm busy. Okay, so that second, 2 seconds, and that's face-to-face or over the phone, we've got to grab their attention to get a response. Then after attention, we need to create some interest. How long do we have to do that? Anywhere between 3 and 7 seconds. And then we need to get another response. Oh, hi, John. Frank asked me to call you. It's Tony. Yeah, it's because, you know, the situation you had with the window cleaning people and they broke the glass, and Frank actually said you might be looking for a replacement for that, so he's asked me to call you. Okay, did this actually, this happened, didn't it? Yeah? Can you tell me what happened then? And I'm engaging and creating a situation. Something else on calls in that initial 10 seconds, while we're doing that, by utilizing first names. So I'll always try and use a first name. So I never use my last name over the phone or actually face-to-face. So if I introduce myself, oh, hi, it's Tony. They very rarely will say, oh, hi, my name is Lord Fauntleroy. They'll generally, it doesn't even matter if they're a doctor. You know, years ago, I had to go for some tests in Canada. And this guy's got his plaques. I got referred to this guy because he was the specialist for what it was. I've been traveling. They thought I might have picked up a virus. So I get referred to, not even referred, told to go to this guy. And his name on the plaque was Dr. I always remember this, Dr. Leo Kahana in Hamilton, Ontario. So as I'm walking in, I see these plaques and I say, oh, hi, I'm here to see Leo. And the receptionist freaks out. Don't call him that, don't call him that, don't call him that. The phone calling company called him last week and he reamed them out because they called him Mr. Kahana. And I said, yeah, it's fine, yeah. So she books me and I sit down and the doctor comes out and he says, hi, Tony. I said, oh, hi, Leo, how are you? Oh, I'm great. And the receptionist just went, froze. But people will react and respond to us based on how we act towards them. So if you want a first name, use your first name. If you want to deal with someone as Mr. or Mrs. or Dr. someone, that's easy enough to do, but it's very impersonal. So creating that rapport is when you get on first name basis very, very soon. And again, this is little techniques in wording, and we'll work on this one. I am going a little bit over the map, all over the map with these things, as I always do, because I work without a script. I'm not reading something off here. So get on first name basis as quick as you can. You've got sort of half a second to a second to grab their attention. You've got 3 to 7 seconds tops to create some interest. But between these steps, you've got conversations a two-way street. You want to be listening to them and asking, telling questions. I've done videos on creating rapport. I'll do some other ones on telling questions on how to engage people. So when you're asking a question, you don't just want a yes or no answer. So Frank, what happened? I heard your windows broke. Can you tell me what happened? Yeah. If I want someone to carry on, I'll just say, really? And I'll let them talk. So this is the art of, the first step in the art of effective communication. Let them talk. I was in a situation, face-to-face, I was training someone up in Canada, and I was in this house. I think we had a security business at the time. I may be wrong. I was in a house, and for those situations, you always had to have a husband and wife together. Because what would happen if there was one, or what's called a single legger, at the end of it all, they'd say, I need to check with my husband, or I need to check with my wife. And it was just a complete waste of time because it's lost in translation. That's the equivalent of explaining everything you've got to a receptionist. I was having this conversation today about, health benefits, which is what we're working on at the moment. Should I say anything? Should I explain anything to receptionists? No, you could explain all about what we do, and this is not just for this industry. You could explain all about what we do to the receptionist, and she will translate to whoever it is. Yeah, some lady called me selling health insurance or something. We've got that, haven't we? Yeah, okay, right. I'll tell them we're not interested. It's lost in translation. Less is more. So if you're at the gatekeeper, is the word. And, I've used them myself, and there's a reason for that. If you're jammed up with meetings, or you're working on tight schedules, or you're working in a busy place, you literally have to have a gatekeeper. So it's not a battle to go through the gatekeeper. It's a battle to create rapport with that gatekeeper and get the gatekeeper to be on your side. If you've ever seen the movie Wall Street, the original one with Charlie Sheen, every day calls trying to get through to Gordon Gekko. Every day, but he gets on first name terms with the receptionist. And by the time he shows up in the office, she knows exactly who he is just by voice. And this is what we're up against in this sort of industry. People of influence and people who can help us often have a gatekeeper. So utilize that, create rapport with the gatekeeper. Again, utilizing the right words, get on first name basis. We need to move on with this. So from the wording, more important is the voice. So what can we alter in that voice to make it more effective? Well, there's a couple of things. The speed of the voice. Now, depending on what you're doing, but, if someone from wherever, I'm not naming places, calls me and they're all laid back and, hi, how are you today? That suggests to me boredom. So that suggests to me they are bored of what they're doing. And my subconscious will go, you know, if they're bored of what they're doing, I'm certainly not going to be interested in doing it. They do it for a living. Why the hell would I want to listen to it? Next. So speed is important. Now, because the verbiage is not as important as the vocabulary, sometimes I will speak so fast and people catch every second or third word. One of my great mentors, Pearson, used to not finish sentences or not finish words, and to listen to it from the outset. Oh, hi, Frank. Yeah, John called me about the the window thing. Yeah, Frank. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. So go and tell me. So what actually happened? Boom, 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 boom. It's I'm not reading the news here. I'm getting to the point. Half a second to get their attention, a couple of seconds to get their interest and get them talking. Speed, the faster it goes, translates to enthusiasm. So years ago, I was training people how to do interviews. And what I had is a desk like this. And if you were being interviewed, you'd be sat across the desk, and it was fairly standard. What you didn't know is you would have walked in the room from that direction. There was a hidden cubby hole back there with someone sat in it that you wouldn't have seen. And that person was being trained to do interviews. So they would sit there quietly with a pen and paper. That's how long ago it was, with a pen and paper. They would sit there quietly, taking notes. And my interview process was very simple at the time. I'd do a group interview or a group orientation, I think the word is, whatever you call them, group session, information session. And then I'd interview, and it's just purely because of the sheer volume of people looking for work. Very similar today. There's thousands of people looking for work. We put I remember looking for an admin assistant in Wall Street, 36,000 resumes off whatever it was, Monster, Craigslist, in like overnight. And when I got in the morning and there's someone saying, like, we've got to trying to print them up, I said, are you kidding me? Forget about it. Just dump the lot, put a different ad in and make it more specific. There's thousands of people out there looking for jobs. So when it's like this and you've got a huge volume of people coming in for interviews, and in one city, Toronto, Ontario, 3 million people over 5 years, 100,000 people came through the door for an interview. That's 1 out of every 30 people in the city of Toronto over 5 years. That's the volume we're going at. So this guy comes in. I know I've got 2 minutes approximately to do an interview. Comes in, sits down. I've got his application there, which generally resumes are all they all look the same, to be honest. They're all perfect. So we had him fill out an application form. One of the reasons for that is to make sure he could read the writing. So I'm saying, so hey George, yeah, I see this, and I see you like playing golf, and what do you think of what you've seen so far today? Oh, it's very good. Okay, that's wonderful, George. And listen, I keep interviews fairly brief. I do things on gut feeling, on just raw. I'll get it or not. So tell me, George, and I put the thing down. Why do you think you'd be good at this job? Bear in mind, there's someone sat behind George there. Why do you think you'd be good at this job, George? And George says, well, people tell me I have great enthusiasm. Well, that's obvious to me, George. And as soon as I did that, this poor guy there literally spat his coffee out everywhere, burst into tears. George got up, ran out the door. I was crying with laughing. People tell me I have great enthusiasm. I don't even know why I responded like that. I just did. Well, that's obvious to me, George. And looking back on it, just like, couldn't do any interviews for 5 or 10 minutes because of the tears. It was that funny. So our words are nowhere near as important as our voice. Speed translates to enthusiasm. It's more important to get your voice right than your absolute verbiage right. Yeah, we all make mistakes. Just go through them. People are catching every third word when we're working at the right level. Now, the other thing, speed there's volume. So think about this, and I know we're not interactive here, you're watching as a whole, right, it's a good one. It's a whole bunch of you watching. To appear confident on a volume level, would you speak louder or quieter? I think you got the answer. The answer is obviously louder, because if we're talking to someone quietly, it creates uncertainty. My take on it subconsciously is, does this guy know what they're talking about? Not sure. But if I get someone on the phone, oh, hi, Tony. It's like, yeah, John asked me to call you. Really? Which John? John Miller. Oh, John, yeah, how's he doing? Good, yeah. Yeah, what's it about? Yeah, John said he's got my attention. Attention, interest. Some people tie the two together. Oh, how's that, John? Yeah, blah, 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 verbal vomit, verbal vomit, verbal vomit. Just lost attention. That's them talking. Interest. I found a good way also to get attention from people. This works a lot better face-to-face, but it still works over the phone. And I've had arguments with people over the years about this, but you know, we built a sales force and a multi-billion-dollar business based on this one opening line. The line is, oh, hi, sorry, hi, John, sorry to bother you. What's the automatic response? Now, if you think about it, it's not an automatic response. There is one response to, oh, hi, John, sorry to bother you. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, Frank asked me to call you. I don't know if he called you about it. It was about your broken windows there. He told me some story. Well, what actually happened? Now, what's happened there is, I'm getting all my names mixed up here. Whoever the guy was I just spoke with, Frank, a lot of Franks in this. Oh, hi, sorry to bother you. That's okay. What he's just told me is it's okay that I'm bothering him, and that's exactly as I do it. But who else has he told that? He's told his subconscious. What I've got is got his attention. Next, I've got his attention very fast. Next, I've got a few seconds to create his interest, or to gain his interest, I should say. Oh, hi, sorry to bother you. Hi, John, sorry to bother you. That's okay. However, voice tone in this, and voice and volume. Oh, hi, sorry to bother you. It's kind of creepy, that one. Oh, hi, sorry to bother you. So it's getting it right, and this is where it's not just tone. Sorry, it's not just volume, it's not just speed, but it's tone as well. If it's monotone, people say I'm very enthusiastic. Flat. When you talk really slow and flat, people think you're stupid. So the tone, your conversation and your tone is determined by the speed, the volume. It's knowing when to put that certain emphasis on things. And that's dictated by speed and volume. And one other thing, which is silence, which we'll cover probably last on this little voice thing. So I'll give you an example. If I say 5 words, first word is I. Second word is didn't. Third word is kick. Fourth word, the. Fifth word, dog. So we're going to utilize not so much speed, but volume, emphasis, and tone, and make that sound 5 different ways. So if I utilize the terms, I didn't kick the dog. Slow at the beginning, speeds up to the end. I didn't kick the dog. That means that the dog was kicked, but it wasn't me. I didn't kick the dog. Slows down in the center. The volume goes up on the word kick as by emphasis. I didn't kick the dog. That could mean I hit the dog with a stick. It was me and it was the dog, just the emphasis word was different. I didn't kick the dog, kick the cat. It was me, it was kicked, wrong animal. I didn't do any of these, by the way, for you animal lovers like me, but the emphasis is determined by the speed, the volume, and the tone of that. By changing the speed and volume, it creates the tone of it. I didn't kick the dog. Nothing. Next. So understanding this is we need to look at what we do and where our emphasis is. We had a project years ago on a door-to-door situation. So what it was, and this, you know, we did do it over the phone in Montreal when it got too cold in the winter to go out door to door. We set up a phone room. And the deal was back then, it was the long distance industry. And when we went then out with a free program, save 25% or whatever the figure was, off all your long distance. Number one, it was new in the market, no one had heard of it. So you get people saying, save, oh, is this legal? Yeah. How much is it? It's free. So their emphasis was on legal. My emphasis was on free. When something is free and you've never heard about it before, the thought is, what's the, you know what word just popped in your head? I don't even need to say it. So what we had to do is create something using words. So instead of making it free, what we did was, you know, they'd ask about it, and the situation was because it was new in the market, sounded too good to be true. How can it be free? Don't believe it, never heard of it before. So we created a hook, as it were. And the reason I'm telling you this is how to get it wrong. So the hook was, it's 25% off your long distance charges. This was up in Canada when the market had literally been open a month, 2 months. 25% off your long distance charges. Is this legal? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. What's the catch? Oh, the catch? Yeah, it's $25 to get started. Ah, okay. However, we do give you $30 worth of long distance to use off your bills. Oh, that sounds reasonable. But the key here is how to mess it up. What's the catch? Well, it's $25 to get started. Oh, and yeah, you get $30 worth of stuff for calls as well. So by changing the tone and the emphasis and the speed and the volume, it changed the whole thing. What's the catch? Well, the catch is, listen, of course there's a catch. $25 to get started. Oh, and yeah, I forgot to tell you, you get $30 worth of free calls anyway. So yeah, it kind of balance itself out. Oh, okay, that sounds reasonable. But there's something that you may or may not have picked up on in that second one. It is the art of silence. So I'm just mindful of how long we've got here. Yeah, we're okay, plenty of time. So this, in fact, I'm not going to tell this story, it's another one. But the art of silence, the first one to speak loses. So sometimes when we're asking people questions, and if it's phone work, it might be, okay, Frank, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'll book you in to see, to get a call from one of our specialists. Is it better morning or afternoon? doesn't matter. If you look at that, I mean, it's not ethically, it's not a great movie, but as far as phone rooms go, Boiler Room, which was based on the story of Jordan Belfort. Funnily enough, I was watching last night The Wolf of Wall Street, and there's a point in that where Vin Diesel asked this guy, I can't remember the exact words, so would you take do you want the 25,000 shares or the full 50? And he says nothing. And he actually puts the phone up. The first one to speak loses. That's it. Morning or afternoon? Afternoon? Okay, I've got a 2 and I've got a 4. What's best for you? You can only do 3. Hang on, let me see if I can move one of the. You know what? Yeah, I'll figure it out. Okay, put this in your daytime and grab a pen. This is who's going to call you. I'll get in for 3 and I'll juggle one of the others around because I know one of these others was flexible. Okay, great. And once again, my name's Tony. So, just by giving a choice of 2 or 4, they're going to come back with a number. Doesn't have to be 2 or 4. Okay, but that's fine if it's just for booking an appointment. This is also, and I'll tell you the story of Dairy Queen in the, I want to say the 40s or the 50s. They put a contest up. They found that the biggest profit from Dairy Queen, I've never had one of these. They used to put eggs in milkshakes, apparently. So when they determined that eggs was the biggest profit maker. So what they did was put up a marketing contest. Whoever could sell the most eggs, not customers, as a marketing company, whoever could produce more eggs was the person that would actually win the contest. And within a day, this one guy calls, not a big marketing company, says, yeah, I figured out your situation, yeah. Where do I pick up my money? And the guy's like, well, this runs for 90 days or 6 months. No, I've already done it. Well, how? Meet me at the Dairy Queen, I'll show you. So they go to the Dairy Queen. He's with the chairman of Dairy Queen, or whoever it was, managing director, and they go in there, they order these shakes, and the guy behind the counter says, do you want an egg in that? And the chairman says, yeah. Okay, so this guy says, there's your challenge. Let me behind the counter. Goes behind the counter and pulls a shake. You want 1 egg or 2? Just the 1. Okay, that's fine. And he won this marketing contest on that, which leads me to the next point. Words, 6%, 7%, sorry. Voice, 38%. Body language, 55%. So what do I mean by body language or physiology? I've been doing it on this call gradually as we've been working further and further and further into it. But if you're working on the phone, the very best people I've ever seen, the biggest money earners I've ever seen, bar none, that work phones, don't have a chair. If you need to sit down, take a break off the phone and go sit down for 10 minutes. Some people at work sat down all day, go out and walk around for 10 minutes. But the best guys I've seen, one of my videos is the legend of Jamie Abbott. One of the better guys I've ever seen working a phone. But if you're sat down on the phone, you're losing so much power. People can see you're either sat down or you stood up. So what do I mean by that? We take our body language and we're leaning. Oh, hi, John. How are you today? Our physiology dictates our breathing patterns. It dictates our own level of enthusiasm. It dictates our own energy levels. And that transference of feeling is going straight down the phone line, coming out the other end as, oh, I'm talking to Eeyore the donkey here. And then your client's going to go like that. Yeah, no, not really interested. No, thanks, bye. And then we get into that spiral of people are not interested. And it's not that. If people are not interested, You are not interesting. The world is a reflection of me. People will act and react towards you as you act and react towards them. So what do I mean by body language? What I mean is, when you're working, you stand up. You're on the phone. When I'm working, I am pacing. Hang on, let me shift this out of my way here. I'm on the phone here. Okay, now I'm doing this on a hangout, but I'm on the phone. So when I'm on this phone, and when I'm talking with my hands all the time, if I've got to write, the phone goes into the other thing. I'll lean forward. I'll use my pad next to the phone. Or if I've got earbuds in, I'll talk with both hands. John, Frank told me to give you a call. It was actually about, he said he got a broken window. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, great, that's wonderful. Okay, tell me all about that. But what's coming across here is that transference of feeling as opposed to, you're the donkey. Frank, tell me about it. So Frank, tell me about it. So here's the reality. When you stand up, you make better connections, you make better rapport, okay? Because your own breathing, your diaphragm's not crushed down, your own breathing, you've got more depth of expression, more voice. It transfers, okay? So if you're not sure how to do this, every time I think about this, I start laughing. Go to Peter Griffin, Family Guy speaking Italian. And if you've never seen this, I'll do a very bad Peter Griffin impression here. I'm actually, it's topical, it's Movember. So he walks in with Brian to this place, this Italian place, and Peter Griffin has grown a moustache. And Brian, the dog's there, and Brian's trying to order something, and Peter goes, no, you don't know how to do this. So the Italian guy goes, and Peter Griffin very simply goes, hey, ba-ba-da booby, ba-ba-da beebe. And the guy talks about, and all you see is these hand movements. So I'm telling you now, it's one of the funniest things I see. I still laugh when I watch. I'm going to watch it straight after this, but you'll get it. Okay, if you're on the phone and your hands are not moving, I was on a call with my business partner Darren, who you know out in BC, and we're doing something. He was interviewing me on a call. There was no video, and I just said, "Let me tell you something right now, Darren. You are pacing up and down your living room." And he started laughing. He said, "So are you?" I said, "Yeah, I know." But you can tell, and people can tell your enthusiasm levels. And if you don't sound enthusiastic about what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it. Okay? Yeah, you know, it's, if you're an undertaker, yeah, I get the low key. Oh, hi, Mrs. Jones, your husband just died? Excellent. When do you want us round with the box? It doesn't work in that industry. Okay, I get that. But pretty much everything outside of that, it does. It does. So the body language, when we stood up, automatically brings our hands into play. If, you know, that's probably one of the best ones I've ever seen is Peter Griffin. You know what? Go watch Boiler Room. Watch Boiler Room. Okay, forget the lack of ethics in it, but some of those phone techniques are amazing. But these guys are on the feet walking around. They're on the feet walking around. I've run some of the biggest call centers going, and I tell people, don't sit down for the first 2 hours. Get your day rolling. And then, you know, 5 hours in, I'd see them leaning on the desk, but they'd still be sat. And as soon as they got someone to talk to, oh, John, let me tell you something. And then while they're waiting for the phone to ring, they're leaning on the desk, or they'll dial a number. Oh, hi, Sarah. Yeah. It's Jamie there. We spoke yesterday. You put me through to Frank. Yeah, sure, I'll hold. And this is the same, because what happens here is when we have motion, it creates emotion. So people are going to like you or not like you based on their emotions, not because of logic. Okay, you could be called, I don't know, Cristiano Ronaldo, and you could have 1,000 Ladies answering the phone. Oh, hi, this is Cristiano Ronaldo. Is Frank there? No, he's busy? Okay, thanks. Just think about this. There's no emotion in it. So people will deal with you, whether it's romantically, business-wise, rapport-wise, based on, not on logic, but on emotion. So emotion is created by motion. Emotion is created by motion. Okay? So to create that motion, if we're sat on our ass on a chair slumped over, there's no motion, so there's no emotion. To create the emotion, first we need to get off our ass. It's so tiring. You know what? Go for a walk, sit down, get your energy levels up. Sat in an office all day and I need more coffee. Get off your ass, walk around, get the blood flowing a little bit. Create the emotion through the motion. Because what you will create down that phone line is a level of enthusiasm at the other end that will reflect right back down that phone line, so people want to do business with you. And this is a very simple principle. If people like you, they will find a reason to do business with you. Doesn't matter about prices, product, whatever. We all go into stores where we know it's cheaper somewhere else, but we like the person in the store or the restaurant or the bar or whatever it may be. It's based upon us. It's nothing to do with product price or anything like that. It's based upon us. If people like you, they'll find a reason to do business with you. You know, the other side of that is, if they don't like you, you could give your stuff away free. They won't take it. So to master this, create some emotion from within. It's not going to come to you down the phone line. Oh, hi, is George there? Hi, is that Tony? How are you today? Yeah, I'm good, George. Yeah, wow. Okay, it comes from within. So the other thing with that is, backtracking and wrapping the whole thing into one, the wording is the least important because people aren't catching up on every bit. The voice is way more important. However, unless you know what you're saying, your voice won't flow naturally. So if you're working off a written presentation and, hi, my name is Tony and I'm from XYZ Corporation out of Mississippi. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm busy right now, bye. So that presentation, I was talking to Mike last week, I think he said he made 80 calls before he got past the first page. Okay, yeah, we can sit in the mirror and do this once or twice, but sitting in the mirror every single day for 3 hours is not going to create anything. Pick up the phone, make your errors, you're going to learn very fast, and you're going to improve very fast. And then all of a sudden, your breathing will flow into it. Oh, hi, yeah, John, yeah. Frank asked me to give you a call. It's Tony here. It was my broken window situation. Did he tell you about it? Oh, he did. Great. Yeah. Yeah, apparently I have some situation there. Wonderful. Can you tell me more about that? So I come up for air in between what I'm saying, but that will only come with saying it and practicing it. Also, it becomes second nature. Once it becomes embedded in your subconscious, which literally means you have dreamt your presentation in your dreams. I can go back to stuff 30 years ago and still remember what I used to say on the door. And it's just because it's in that subconscious. So what this does, when we get our energy levels correct, when we get that voice tone correct, when we get the volume correct, when we get the speed correct, when we get the emphasis and the pause and the silence correct, when we get all that, what we create is a sense of urgency. Because urgency is the alternate to, he's busy right now, can you call back tomorrow? And when Venus and Mars are aligned and you see a pink Volvo down the street, just like, enough. Okay, but it's not the people. It's coming from us. And I know if you're learning this, it sometimes feels like soul destroying. Sometimes. Okay, it's a process. We all go through it. So the idea of what I've been doing today is to put down a few little keys. It's not all the, it's not the be all and end all, but the principles are here. Your body language is more important than your voice. Your voice is more important than the words. But unless you get the words right, you can't get the voice right. And when you get the voice right and the breathing right, and all of a sudden your depth of expression will come into it. Your speed will come into it. Your volume will come into it, or not. Breathe. Got that little bit of silence to let people think. Rather than, hi John, it's Frank. Verbal vomit, verbal vomit, verbal vomit, verbal vomit, verbal vomit, verbal vomit. Do you want to speak to one of our guys? And the other end, there's big Z's going out the window. Just shut them off altogether. So think about these few things. In fact, rather than think about them, watch this again. It's recorded, I think, yeah, that's good. It's recorded. Listen, this is probably the most live people I've had on a course. I want to thank all you guys. Share it around, and I hope I got something, or you got something from it, not me. Yeah, I got something from it. There's a few things, and when you call me tomorrow, and I talk to people all the time, yeah, Tony, yeah, I really got a lot out of that. What that means is you got nothing out of it, okay? People can see you down your phone line. Doesn't mean what you're wearing or not, as the case may be. People can see you down your phone line. They can see your physiology. They can see your enthusiasm level. They can see your conviction. They can see your belief. They can feel you right down the phone line. Guess what? Them, like you, like me, we all want to feel good. We want to feel appreciated. And we want to feel, if we're dealing with someone we've never seen, we want to feel comfortable. So guys, I'm going to wrap this real quick. I targeted we're good. Targeted an hour. So there you go. That's what we got for today. I'll do more. Here's the deal, guys. If you need stuff, you just ask. Tony, can you put together a video on Okay, if it's something that's within my realm of experience, I'm not going to make something up that I've not done. I'm more than happy to do it. So feel free to share this. There's no copyright. There's no nothing on it. Get it out there. If you're watching this and you've got teams in your own business, that's fine. Just let it go. I'm not, currently, I'm not charging for this stuff. So which means if it's on YouTube, it's a freebie. There may be a point in my life where I go back to charging for lessons. But right now, I'm just here to help. So from New York City, the real Tony Cohen is checking out of here. Thanks, guys.